Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
Well, here's Jay, and it is January 22nd. And this is the Educated Retirement, and welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and stay successfully retired. Please give me a call at or visit drhecm.com. All right, I got the wrong board, but who cares? We can see it anyway. There's the phone number. Okay, 866-955-2233. And you can look up theeducatedretirement.com, which is the name of the show, or Dr. Heckham, drhecm.com. Just email me if you like. Best loan today at gmail.com. And why? Well, a couple of reasons. For one reason, the future is now, and since you need to get things ready for the future right now, we need to talk. Just talk, that's all. Not a big deal. I can talk about anything. UFOs, Bigfoot, those are the, those things, and even not only reverse mortgages, any mortgage that you might want to talk about, but remember, knowledge is power. Jump over to Dr. Heckham or theeducatedretirement.com, and you can see all the shows, past and present. On the YouTube channel, you can also go to where it says live shows to watch live anywhere the internet is, and I think that's most of the planet. And it says to watch my live shows, but you can click on it. You can watch any show that is on KMET. And do I have a day job, you hope? Yes, I do. The Loan Source. My NMLS number, which is the lending license number, is, and that's nationwide, but I'm really, I can give information everywhere, but I am licensed to do loans in the state of California, 384-565. Department of Real Estate is, number is 792-630. And today is, just to let you know, National Hot Sauce Day. So, National Hot Sauce. I'm pressing some other buttons and some other things, but don't worry. The buttons usually work. Sometimes they don't, but it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to press the buttons that will help me in this nation is Mad Dog 357 plutonium number 9. And I thought that might be too hot to try to pick up a bottle to show you. It has 9 million Scoville units. Now, what exactly is a Scoville unit? It's hot. I can't tell you exactly, but to give some comparison, Tabasco is 5,000 units. And plutonium number 1 is 9 million units. Sriracha is so popular everywhere. It is anywhere you can get different heat signatures from 1,000 to 2,500 units, and we're going back to 9 million for the others. So I don't think that is for me. We do believe in challenging the status quo, and families need to be active, not reactive. So be active out there. Whose birthday is it today? It is John Hurt. John Hurt was born in 1940, and he passed on, earned his wings in 2017. He was an English actor whose career spanned over 50 years and was in over 97 films, and yeah, you've seen him a lot. Nominated for 2 Oscars and won numerous Golden Globes and BAFTA. BAFTA. All I know for sure is that B stands for British, and the A at the end must be awards. So he said, I am a director's actor. Producers never seem to know what to do with me. However, David Lynch, a director, said or described him simply as the best actor in the world. And that's quite a thing from David Lynch, who is, he might be older than I am, but maybe not. Anyway, he had an interest in acting at a very young age and lived across the street from a movie theater, but was not allowed to go. Can you imagine not going? We didn't have TVs then either, I don't think. Anyway, his family frowned on such things. So there, I mean, it's like if you tell somebody you can't do it or you can't have it, that's when you excel at it. At 17, he enrolled in an art school where he won a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. And his first major role, I didn't realize that, was a 1962 film called A Man for All Seasons. Now, yes, I've got this in other ones, but I thought, well, why not show a video tape? I didn't even know what to call it. I got through video, but I didn't get the rest of it. But tape. It's not tape. And yeah, we still got them around. I remember when I was a kid that came out, how, I was really impressed by it. And all my friends, they were running around talking about the comedy Start the Revolution Without Me, if you remember that. Anyway, I loved that film when I saw it, and I still do. So I highly recommend A Man for All Seasons. I think Paul Scofield won the Academy Award for that, and on and on. Anyway, John Hurt was also in Midnight Express, of course, Alien, which I think we all know quite a bit about, become a huge franchise. And I should have taken this out of the plastic, but this is actually a fairly new repressing and extended soundtrack of it. I think it's on Death Waltz or Mondo. I'd have to check. I don't have the little thingy on it right now. Anyway, his portrayal of Kane, where the alien burst out of his chest, has been named by several publications as one of the most memorable moments in cinematic history, and I think we probably all agree. He was also in Elephant Man. I got a copy around here somewhere. Nominated Best Actor, and that too was directed by David Lynch, who said he was the best actor ever. He was in a film, which we'll talk more, get into a little bit more, directed by Jim Jarmusch, called Dead Man with Johnny Depp, and I'll show you a little more about that too, because it is Jim Jarmusch's birthday today. And he was also in the film Contact, and I know we do got that. Contact. Show the back anyway, but I'm sure most people, it's a very popular film to many, many people. He played Dr. Haddon, who lived in a satellite, the guy that saved the day. So, I always thought, what would it be like to be that rich and to have that much whatever? So who would be that person today? Sean, are you listening at all? Do you have an opinion there?
I have no clue.
All right, I'm going to throw one in. I'm going to put Robert Bigelow. I don't have his pick. Well, I don't. That's not the same Bigelow from DOA, but it could also be Elon Musk or Richard Branson. But the only one that I know of that was on 60 Minutes that said he knows 100% that aliens are on Earth would be Robert Bigelow. And he used to own the Skinwalker Ranch and still works at very high levels of government with UFO stuff. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And of course, you know, John Hurt was the man that, sold the magic wands, and he unfortunately never had one for me. He was also in V for Vendetta, which is a great, great graphic novel, along with Watchmen. Alan David Lloyd did the drawings, V for Vendetta, but I thought that was amazing film, and a very good rendition of this great novel, which I think we should all be looking into. The other one that Alan Moore wrote, I think, was even better, and that is very hard to say better, but would be Watchmen, which has been on, almost every list of best 100 novels of the 20th century. The movie wasn't as well taken, although I liked it, but there is a real life director's cut that's out running around there somewhere. There's the music from it. But I really highly recommend looking at some of these graphic novels. They are not comic books, and I love comic books too, don't get me wrong. And of course, John Hurt was in Hellboy. There's our boy right there. Or this is Hellboy too, but All right, we mentioned Jim Jarmusch. Yeah, we mentioned I needed to take a drink of coffee, didn't we? Jim Jarmusch, Jarmusch, was born in 1953, just a kid. And I loved his stuff since we first started seeing him, and just haven't seen enough from him. But he's stayed true to his roots really are. An American film director, screenwriter, actor, producer, and composer. Here's a picture of what he. Oh, looks like I'm running out of a little ink here, but that's okay. There's a picture of what he. Supposed to be what he looks like now, and that could be. And here he is as a young punk. But he's still got that same look. Jim's mother was a reviewer for film and theater who would leave him at a local cinema to watch matinee double features while she ran errands. Quite different than John Hurt's parents, I'd say, and these are the parents I'd rather have than John Hurt. But among his favorites were Attack of the Crab Monsters and Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I don't, we've shown that so many times, it doesn't matter. That Creature from the Black Lagoon was on Svengoolie last Saturday. I hope you're all watching Svengoolie like, good older people and everybody else. And among his childhood favorite television personalities was, Svengoolie. He's been on for 40 years, but it was Ghoulardi. Now, just a reminder, a refresher course, because we went over this, I don't know, a month or so ago. I don't know. When you get old like me, you forget how fast time goes by. When you get older, I shouldn't say old since I'm such a kid. Anyway, Ghoulardi, we spoke a lot about him a bit ago. Why? Because Ghoulardi was the father of Paul Thomas Anderson, one of the best directors, one of the most famous directors of our time. And Jim's favorite writers were William Burroughs and Jack Kerouac. Now, we'll get into just a little. William Burroughs. Oh, you know what? I was looking for the book, but we couldn't find the book. It's around here somewhere. Wrote such things as Naked Lunch. And of course, we're all kind of familiar with Jack Kerouac, who wrote On the Road, and who wrote Sheltering Sky, and Kesey wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They're all kind of a group. But William Burroughs wrote Naked Lunch. And let me show you a little bit about Naked. Here's the video disc, the Criterion video disc from that. And here's really kind of a cool little booklet that came with it. And I don't want to spend too much time, but I think there's some pictures worth looking at. Burroughs himself is, there's one picture of him, but I don't want to take too much time looking through there. But that's pretty cool cover too, also for that. Now the film, I thought was really well done by David Cronenberg. And here is, actually, this is not that old. This also came out on Mondo. Here's a quick picture of Pete. Pete who?
Weller.
Peter Weller. Notice the number of hands. Okay. That's the one thing I didn't see right away. But Pete, as I call him, and I had a conversation in New Orleans once about cigars. And that was a pretty short conversation, but it went on for another hour in my head only. But, that's the way I am. Now, because of Burroughs and the movie especially, that's when people took drugs, couldn't get a hold of drugs as easily, so they became, what are those people that kill bugs? Bug killers, whatever. And, sniffed their own stuff, bug killing stuff, and got high. This typewriter in the background here, I bought only because of the movie Naked Lunch. Let's see if you can see it here. Let me get out of the way a little bit more. I think you can see it pretty well right there. And in the movie and the book, of course, the typewriters became giant bugs. And let's get back to Jim Jarmusch right now. And Jim, as an exchange student, moved to Paris, France, and worked as a delivery driver for an art gallery, spending most of his time in the cinema. And upon his return, he worked as an assistant to Nicholas Ray. That's quite an honor. Nicholas Ray did some other movies we all know about: Rebel Without a Cause, They Live by Night, and even Wim Wenders from Germany, another great director, did a whole movie about the work of Nicholas Ray. And of the movies of Jim Jarmusch, there is, the first big hit was Stranger Than Paradise. And yeah, that's another video disc. No, it's a tape. That's it.
VHS.
Yeah, whatever it's called. Anyway, there's like a scene from the film. This is a book called Stranger Than Paradise about maverick filmmakers in recent American cinema. So Spike Lee, David Lynch, Steven Soderbergh, Quentin Tarantino, Coen Brothers, and Jim Jarmusch is kind of featured all over this place. So from that movie, which was honored at the Cannes Film Festival, it starred John Lurie, and that John Lurie and Jim had a very long relationship, a good one after that. John Lurie was part of a group called, I love this, the Lounge Lizards. And there's one album. There's another one right there of the Lounge Lizards. And I forgot we even had this one. This one is London Philharmonic featuring the Lounge Lizards. Produced and conducts Tio Macero. And I believe Tio Macero did so much of the producing of the great jazz albums of the 1950s. But just give you a quick look at that also. I forgot I even had this one. Wow. All right, big time. Here's what John Lurie looked like as a much younger person. And he's a little bit older now, but still. last time I saw him was on the Anthony Bourdain show where they did a Greenwich Village special about food, culture, and of course, John Lurie was a part of all of that. And that was the final episode of Parts Unknown, unfortunately. And there's a lot more we need to know about that, but we don't. Jim did another movie, Mystery Train, which had a lot to do with rock and roll, I believe. Dead Man with Johnny Depp. That's the record. No, is that the record or the video? That's a video disc. God, we got all of these kinds of things. Anyway, Dead Man was also Robert Mitchum's very last film. And of course, every chance I get, I like to talk about Robert Mitchum singing Calypso. So, don't forget that. And John Hurt was also in there. And he was also a founding member of the Sons of Lee Marvin. And that was a semi-secret society of artists who met and watched Lee Marvin films. The sole entry requirement for the club is that one must have a physical resemblance to look like the son of Lee Marvin. I don't know what they did about daughters of Lee Marvin, but we'll talk about that later. Oh, maybe we can connect it with Linda Blair and The Exorcist, because Linda Blair's birthday is today, 1959, and I'm going to have to wrap this up in just a minute, and I will do that. American actress in over 20 films, started as a child model for Sears, J.C. Penney, and Macy's catalogs. Remember when that was the pre-internet shopping craze? She was also in 70 commercials for Winchell's Donuts, and she was featured in some daytime soaps, and most recognized now as the child who was possessed. And here is her autograph, which I know I've shown before, but which I got at a sci-fi gathering or whatever, where people were signing autographs for whatever. But she was selected for the part. That part had over 600 applicants. The first film ever to be nominated for an Oscar picture. The first horror film. I believe Silence of the Lambs was not only the second one, but it actually won the award. Other considerations for Father Marin were, excuse me if I'm going to talk fast because I got to wrap it up here, were Jack Nicholson, Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, the role going to the great Max von Sydow. Other considerations for Reagan's mother were Shirley MacLaine, Jane Fonda, Audrey Hepburn. The role went to the perfect acting job by Ellen Burstyn. And believe it or not, Debbie Reynolds and her daughter Carrie Fisher were considered as a mother and daughter team for that film. And directors that wanted to do it, that were turned down by the studio, Stanley Kubrick, Mike Nichols, and Peter Bogdanovich, were all turned down for the director's job, and I'd like to talk more about that, but we're not gonna. Honorable mentions today: Guy Fieri, 1968, Sam Cooke in 1931, and left us in 1964. There was a huge resurgence on vinyl of Sam Cooke this last week. Bill Bixby, 1934 to 1993. He played television's Hulk, but so did this guy. And we have his autograph. That's that who?
Vince Ferragamo.
Well, Vince Ferragamo. So Vince is going to be the last one to say goodbye to us now for just a couple of minutes. So take care of yourself, and Sean, please take it back. And sorry I went so long, but I'll see you in a minute. And I think this is the summit of the good music that actually the Sean It's not the show, Sean. It's Sean is our engineer and picked out several pieces of music. I love that one in the minor key that starts off the second half. But thank you for being back and sticking with on the educated retirement. And don't forget that you can join the conversation if you feel like it, or just keep on listening, or throw in your 2 cents at 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532. And our very special guest now is Saeed Ghaffari. And, you know, we've known each other for a while. And tell me, Saeed, if I'm pronouncing your last name discorrectly. So I think it looks pretty easy. But he is the founder of Money, Real Estate, and More. And by that, I mean, he is one of our best money men. So if you want to know what to do with your money, this is the man to call. He is fine. And again, he's going to tell you about himself, but he's into what to do with your money. He's into real estate, and he puts together what to do with real estate, the best way to actually make money, and to create a better legacy and create more wealth for yourself. So I can't imagine a more better person to be talking to, or for you guys out there to be listening to. So let's start with Saeed. Please go ahead and give us a little bit of your background information.
For sure. And good afternoon, and thank you for having me, Jay.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Believe me, I'm very, very happy you're here.
It's a mutual feeling. Thank you for having me. Anyway, just to tell you my background, I came to the U.S. in 1979 as a high school kid, and ever since then, I have made it a home, and I have, got married, put a few businesses together. I'm raising 3 children, so I'm pretty much Americanized ever since 1980. So the very first year was a little bit rough, but the rest of it became smooth sailing.
Yeah, well, we hope so. And you're here to help smooth the sails out for listeners.
I certainly will try.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. So go ahead and just, tell us. And before too long, we're going to give out all your contact information. But tell us, some of your best experiences and activities in real estate and how that connects with, with the money journey and the investing part of the whole picture.
For sure. When I came here after I finished high school, I attended Cal State Fullerton, and I got my bachelor's degree in engineering, because I was always fascinated with science. But
yeah.
Once I graduated, for some reason, my fate was in real estate.
And I don't mean to interrupt because I do most, too often, but I also went to Cal State Fullerton in the year of 1968 was when I was spewing out. That was a long time ago, but I matriculated in science also, yep. Specifically biology and marine ecology, and look what happened to me. So, I completely understand.
Yep. So, I finished my degree in engineering, and then in 1987, December of 87, I was into the mortgage business. So ever since then, I've always been involved in real estate. For the first till 1993, I was a mortgage broker. In 93, I had my own radio show like yours, talking about real estate, and I raised a few $1 million, and I started an investment partnership. We flipped about 100 properties from 2010 to about 2015, 16. Around 2017, I came up with this vision to put together a social media platform, something similar to like Facebook, but with a focus in real estate. So I have this platform called Money, Real Estate, and More, with the website address of moreandmorenetwork.com, in which real estate professionals are connected with real estate consumers at no cost to anyone.
And even I'm on there.
You're on it too, and I appreciate you being there. Yeah,
Oh, I appreciate the chance, but go ahead.
yeah. You and many people like you. Right now, we have about 600 members, few professionals, realtors, lenders, attorneys, contractors. So it's a good resource for the consumers to go and connect with the professionals. And I also do podcasts every Wednesday. It goes out, it's released, and I promote the businesses that are listed on the platform at no cost to our members. That's our way of saying thank you to them for signing up.
Great. And these are resources that anybody listening to us or watching can use and should use. I've got another guy, Ron Siegel. I was on his show yesterday. But, one thing that I really like that he repeats is that every home should have a household board of directors. And what you have there is like an already put in place board of directors that people can jump on and use for reference. And you know what? They should be calling those people, they meaning homeowners, and anyone else listening should be calling on the people on your network to interview them so that they know exactly who to call when the time comes. You want to be active, not reactive to something that happens.
Very true. Very true. Speaking of Ron Siegel, he's a good friend of mine as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've known him for a few years, and we've talked business. He's actually a member on my platform as well, with quite a few of his associates. So yeah, it is definitely a good resource for individuals who are looking for professionals in the real estate and financial world. And if you want to know why I came up with this idea, it's because I truly believe that real estate is a resource, is a vehicle in which an ordinary person can achieve extraordinary financial success with it, like nothing else. Anything else you want to make money in, you got to have either a huge amount of capital, you got to have skills, you got to have intelligence, over average IQs. But with no disrespect to real estate professionals and investors, real estate is the easiest way to make money and retire off of.
Absolutely. And, I talk a lot about reverse mortgages, so that's a different thing. And what you're talking about includes all kinds of real estate, including the one your family is in, the one that's a part of your heart and your future, but it also includes those items and pieces of real estate. I just call them items here. They're vehicles for making lots of money. But you don't need to have a PhD. You need to have friends, and you need to have contacts like Saeed right here.
Yeah.
So, these things are available to all of us. So if somebody were to, let's just break right now and give you, Saeed, tell us again, websites, phone numbers, everything that people can get a hold of you by.
For sure. The website is moreandmorenetwork.com, all spelled out. And the phone number they can reach out to is 714-469-5529. And that is actually directed to my own cell phone. I'll pick it up if nobody else answers. And I'll be happy to direct you guys to the site. I have a slogan that I came up with on my homepage. And I said that success in business is not about what you know, is not about who you know, it's about what you know and who you know, and applying it to your everyday life.
Yeah.
You got to have the knowledge, you got to have the connection, okay, and apply them to your everyday life. That's how you become successful, no matter what business you're in.
Right. Right.
I was tuning into your show before I came on the line, and I heard you saying that knowledge is power, which is very true, with a little bit of addition to it.
Okay, ready.
applied knowledge is power. Unless
Well, yeah, that's absolutely,
you know,
and that should be a given, but you know what? It's not, is it?
we take the given for granted all the time, right?
Yeah,
So you got to make sure that we stated applied knowledge is power. Knowledge by itself is like a book. Sitting on a shelf doesn't do you any good.
right, right.
Apply that.
And to know more about like those items, we're just going to talk about property until you tell us more things that you and other investments you may be involved in. But if someone is looking for property for investment, uh, they need to call you, right?
Well, yes, I have about, as I mentioned, I have invested in more than 100 properties of my own, uh,
Mm-hmm.
different partnerships. I
Mm-hmm.
have invested in more than 20 non-performing mortgage notes. Um, and so I'm quite familiar with investment in single-family residential properties and
Yeah.
notes. And if
So
some,
when you say non-performing, they've been non-performing up to a certain time, which makes them a good discounted value, perhaps. And in the end, they do perform for you and the investors, correct?
correct, when I came in to fixing and flipping properties in 2010 and 15, our group bought quite a few properties in the foreclosure auctions. And I was always curious to see why the lenders can sell the properties at the price below what is owed on it. Then I
Yeah.
took some classes in education. I learned that these are discounted, sold to, other investors who are still making money by still selling it below the unpaid balance. It's a
Huh.
fascinating, world.
Right. I used to be involved in, secondary marketing when I had the larger company, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, discount is a big deal. And sometimes you have to sell loans at a big discount, and sometimes you buy them at a discount, and sometimes you even buy them at at more than face value for reasons of
Right.
of their own. So, and the other thing is, I don't think you need to be a millionaire or a billionaire to get into this, right? And you had mentioned also partnerships. So if you could tell us a little bit more about how someone with that maybe isn't a millionaire, that has a limited amount, not, the whatever it is between you and that person, but can somebody become part of a partnership with you and maybe a partnership that you put together?
Right. When I started doing this, I came across a lot of investor wannabes. They wanted to be investors. They didn't know how to get started. And there, unfortunately, so much false advertising. People that are selling classes and education
Oh boy, yeah.
totally, totally overpriced and not necessarily delivering any value. I always tell people, do not pay for those prices. Do not pay those prices for those classes unless you know for sure there's value in it. And how you figure that out, go partner up with somebody who's done it ahead of you, who is honest, and then you can have only a piece of the pie, not the whole pie, until you learn the whole game, and then get into it on your own. And then a good from a mediocre trainer or a coach or a mentor.
Yeah, now even if you were a millionaire or a billionaire, it used to be a millionaire was a big deal, but uh, I would think it'd be safer if you were to perhaps have a smaller piece of a pie and own a piece of a lot of pies
Hmm.
than if you owned all of one or two pies.
Right, right. Obviously, there are pros and cons to it. Of course, if what you're suggesting, it's not like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was driving at.
In investment, there's always for errors, there's room for money. It's a given. So if you split your capital over a number of investments, then you're at least safer a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of people just don't know the investment business
Hmm.
as far as real estate. And it's worth so much to have someone involved with history and knowledge, so that you know what you're doing. You don't go along the wrong path.
Right. Very true. Very true. So the whole purpose of me putting this platform together, Money, Real Estate, and More, is to bring education, bring transparency, and bring connection to the right people. So people that are signing up on M&M, um, many of them, I do know them personally, and I've worked with them in some form or capacity as a co-investor, as a lender, as an agent. So if you're looking for somebody that you could work with or you can trust, always reach out to me, and I'll be happy to connect you with the right person based on your needs, in the area you're looking for, and all other factors.
Yeah, I like that M&M thing. All of a sudden, I was tasting M&M, so I would hope that you give out your cards stapled to the end of a little M&M package. I like the ones with the chocolate more than the nuts, and I do like nuts too. But just to let you know.
I like
But
him.
but so we now know that. Well, we think that everybody out there would like to get involved in real estate. And maybe now is the time, maybe now is not the time. And I mean, as far as values are concerned, we can talk about that quite a bit. And I know values are going up right now. They're continuing to go up. So from that point of view, I think it's a great time. Now, some people will say, well, it could be a small bubble, not like what happened in '08, and maybe prices will drop a little bit or be a correction. I still say that was the time, because what you're going to buy is going to be with a loan, and the interest rate on that loan is going to be a lot smaller now, and the carrying charges of that property until the price gets to where you want it is still going to be lower now than it will be even if the price of the property goes down a little next year. Now is the time. That's my opinion anyway.
And I agree with you. From my own personal point of view, I also listened to a forecast by Kaplan University not long ago, which is saying about 5.1% increase in property values in California. And
Yeah.
their reasoning, their logic behind it is, yes, the pandemic has a adverse effect. However, there are many industries, especially in the service industry, lending, real estate, insurance. All these service industries are benefiting from
Yeah.
the situation, and because of the fact that schools and most businesses are online, they have created a need for additional space in people's homes. So people are up in
That's so true.
homes, and that's
Yeah.
why they do not foresee a reduction in values in 2021.
Now, there's so many forecasts are positive, and we have to not forget all the people who are suffering because of our current economic situations, which most of which is caused by the COVID situation. But all of these forecasts take that big negative into account. And even so, builders are building. Because why? Because they know that properties are going to sell, and they're going to sell fast.
Right, right, very true. The properties, will not be going down in value. And another factor that will contribute to the growth of values is, as you mentioned earlier, lower interest rates.
Oh, I mean, that's
Interest rates
that's
are
lower price. That translates. That's not just interest rates. That's the price.
correct. It is they're historically low, unprecedented to see rates in twos, and in some cases even below twos,
Yeah.
and that's pushing people's purchase power higher, and that's why everybody is rushing to buy. Give you an example. We bought a property, one of my investors, David Church, and we closed it early this month. We haven't even finished the rehab right now, and we have an offer on the table before
Wow.
the property is finished.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
unprecedented.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the house I'm sitting in right now because I too work from home quite a bit. We bought a couple of days. We bought 1983. Can you believe that? I've been stationary that long. I believe there were two loans on it. I assumed a loan at about 16% first, and wait a minute, the second trust deed was 19,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm you're too young to remember those days, but I'm
Not
still
that young.
in that I'm still in that house with no payment at all because I have a reverse mortgage, but that's another story. But yeah, rates are, I mean, people think historic rates, yeah, they're down from 5 and 6. Now they're down from 19.
Right,
So,
right, right. It is. Can you imagine? It's 1/8. You know, the 16%, which
wow.
is, you know,
Wow.
that's 1/8 of
Now
that.
before we're getting down here. I told you this would go too fast.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that, as far as the features on More and More or
Yeah,
M&Ms that you'd like to tell us about?
I'd be happy to cover it real quick. You know, the moreandmorenetwork.com has a few features other than the social media feature that you guys could befriend each other and follow one another, like Twitter or Facebook. We also have a business directory that you could list your business at no cost. We have a calendar of event that you could, list your events if you have one on, Zoom or
Oh, good,
whatever,
great.
at no cost. And then,
And
of course,
people can look on there to find out things they may want to
correct,
attend or join.
correct, absolutely. And we also have a news feed that people could put their haves and wants on the news feed, and pick among them to talk about them on my forecast, my podcast. Excuse me. And my podcast right now is reaching about 11 countries and 18 states.
Wow, beautiful.
So if somebody has something to say, write it up on the news feed. I'll pick it up and I expand on it on the podcast, and I would give credit to the person who wrote it.
And you also have a newsletter, I believe, correct? I know you do.
That is correct. It goes out every Wednesday. As soon as we release the podcast, the newsletter goes out to about 8,000 people.
Uh-huh.
And all the blogs and all the podcasts, the content will be promoted. And the people that sign up and their businesses, we always promote 5 businesses on the newsletter too,
Wow, wow.
all for free.
I just want to really reiterate and drive home that if you're a millionaire, call this man. If you're not, if you just want to know, and I'm not, if you just want to learn something, call this man. If you do have a little bit of something you may want to invest, call this man. But you know what? Even if you don't right now, it's always better to call and talk to Saeed now so that you know what to look for and you don't go away thinking that you need money or whatever or more knowledge than he's going to be able to provide for you. So you need to call him now. And before we run out of time, and we are running out of time, go ahead and give all of those contact numbers, emails, everything, smoke signals, whatever you got.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's 714-469-5529. That number will be forwarded to my cell phone in case nobody answers. But the platform is moreandmorenetwork.com, all spelled out. And as Jay mentioned, if you call me, if you have any questions about any aspect of real estate, I'll be happy to connect you with the right people that are already part of my platform.
That's great. And everybody should learn. We talk about learning. Knowledge is power. You say it's applied power, right? But you know what? You can have nothing to apply unless you learn something.
That's right.
And that's why we have this show, and that's why we have such great guests as Saeed today. And I want to thank you so much because we got to sign off now.
Well,
Believe it or not, we got to sign off. And I really want to thank you so much for the knowledge. I look forward to the next time you're with us. I must confess, as Groucho once said, I was born at a very early age, but still, you can call Saeed and make up for that lost time. Everybody out there, Sean, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.